So I'm on a trail right now, heading up into the mountains. This is the foothills of the Picos de Europa. It's something that I've been looking forward to from the first moments of planning this expedition, and I am so stoked to be here. I'm heading up into the Picos de Europa, one of the highest mountain ranges in Europe. A 4x4 transit of which had captured my imagination from the very first few moments of planning this trail. With 350 miles of off-road driving under my belt so far, I'd be heading ever westwards through northern Spain, including an audacious attempt to navigate one of the highest mountain passes in Spain during winter. As I struck out into that grey and frozen afternoon, following a trail next to a fast mountain river that would take me up into the high Picos de Europa, I felt ready and prepared to tackle whatever was next on my Iberian trail. With a fridge full of food, a full fuel tank and jerry cans, and a GPX map strung together from afar, I was poised to breathe life into something that I'd been plotting for years. But as the first flakes of snow hit my windscreen on my ascent into the foothills, I could have no inkling of just how life-changing my crossing of the Picos de Europa was gonna be. What lay ahead was gonna redefine how I looked at long-distance, solo, self-reliant overland travel forever. Just up ahead were endless miles of remote four-wheel drive tracks through some of the most spectacular terrain I've ever seen. And I'll be pushing through this high mountain world alone and off-grid, always choosing the trail less travelled in my relentless pursuit to be the first person to circumnavigate this incredible landmass without using paved roads in an off-road vehicle. I'll be pushing through extreme and hostile terrain in the dead of winter, four-wheel driving and wild camping my way through this wild and rugged land in my 30-year-old Land Cruiser. Along the way, we'll experience the true meaning of self-reliance on this long-distance overland expedition. We'll encounter the type of challenges that you just can't plan for, pushing through mechanical disasters in remote places, inflicted by the extremity of the terrain after weeks on the trail. The next section of the Iberian Trail will be the most extreme, raw and ruggedly beautiful yet, and will mark the gateway to the wild west of Spain, with Asturias, Leon and Galicia on the horizon. This moment marks the next stage of this epic adventure, and believe it or not, we're only just getting started. If you're ready to accompany me on this expedition, hit that subscribe button and strap in, because this is going to be the adventure of a lifetime. I checked my GPX maps as I prepared to ascend into the Picos. Nosing the cruiser across a little bridge, I observed a tumbling mountain stream turn brown with rushing water runoff, disturbed by the violent storm in the high mountains above. Wow, man. This is like magic. So I'm now climbing through the foothills of the Picos de Europa. On unpaved roads, there's little waterfalls and gushing mountain rivers coming down from that storm that just blew in overhead, and I'm looking for a campsite. I mean, this is honestly, oh my god, this is like the stuff that overlanding dreams are made of for me, honestly. It's such a great time. Picos de Europa is a spectacular high mountain range located in the Cantabrian Cordillera, which extends some 500 kilometers across the north coast of Spain. The range has over 200 peaks that extend higher than 2,000 meters, with the highest reaching over 2,600. The high altitude conditions mean that during winter, the mountain range is almost totally snowed in for most of the year. These mountains are comprised almost entirely of limestone that's been eroded over the years by powerful glacial forces, resulting in rugged, spiny, spectacular peaks with monumental fissures and deep valleys. As far as I know, there's only one way to cross the Picos de Europa off-road. A high mountain pass that wends its way through the peaks at over 2,000 meters above sea level. Normally, this pass is totally snowed in during this time of the year, but this winter has seen unusually low levels of snow in the Picos. I reached out to various locals, including local 4x4 groups, and I was told by a few people that there was a chance that I might be able to transit this pass as long as I waited for my perfect weather window, which would involve it having not snowed in about 2 weeks to allow for snow melt. I would also need bright, clear conditions, and ideally at least one more vehicle to hedge my bets on this treacherous crossing. The idea of being the first person to transit the Picos off-road this season had gotten its claws deeply into me, and I decided that I was going to give it my best shot. As I pushed up into the foothills of this mountain range, we were approaching what seemed to be one of those perfect weather windows that my local contacts had told me about. It hadn't snowed for almost 10 days, and once this storm blew over, there was going to be a 36-hour weather window of bright conditions and clear skies. Just enough time, in theory, for me to complete my off-road passage of the Picos de Europa. I pushed on into the late afternoon, following a wide, chalky four-wheel drive track on a meandering switchback route upwards and onto the foothills. The tail end of the storm brought with it ragged gusts of wind that blasted through the valleys and a scattering of intermittent showers that turned the trail muddy as I climbed. I hope you can see this, but this is how high we are. So that is that little tiny town down there that we crossed. That's the bridge that we crossed just before. That's how high up we are. We've gone from 0 basically meters above sea level to, I don't even know what this is, about 1,000 I think. And over here you can see we have snow. This is the foothills of the Picos. This is all snow and ice on the tops of the mountains. On my map up here, it actually says there's an archaeological site coming up. It says it's a tumba, which I think is like a barrow in English, like a burial mound, you know? So, oh yeah, we're gonna have to stop for this, obviously. Oh my god, the views. I was now driving along the ridgeline of this particular mountain, the novelty of which never seems to get old. Headed due west, my trail was taking me on a winding path through the wild western reaches of the state of Cantabria, heading towards its border in the Picos with the state of Asturias. When I first heard the name Cantabria, it sounded to me like a place name out of a fantasy novel, a mysterious province that held who knows what kind of wonders in the, as yet for me, undiscovered far reaches of northern Spain. Cantabria had lived up to my perception of it, a wild and rugged land of towering mountains, remote and spectacular four-wheel drive tracks, endless forested terrain, and challenging, oftentimes brutal 4x4, a lot of which I'd become intimately acquainted with, on many occasions quite unintentionally. Cantabria was a place that I would never forget, but the mountains were calling me. This high mountain pass, shrouded in fog, marked the gateway to my trail further west, the end of Cantabria and the border to Asturias. The pass lay about 80 kilometers to the west, and I wanted to set myself up to tackle it bright and early the next day, so I pushed on along the trail, into the rain and wind as evening approached. So the burial mound, it says, is over here, so let's just pull the car in for a second and see if we can find it. Alright, so I was reading earlier about these burial mounds, that a lot of them are under threat from like people actually plundering them, you know, like for treasure and stuff that's inside. And also motocross, like motocross bikes, using them as jumps, which is just horrendous to even think about. But yeah, let's go see if we can find anything to do with what this tumba has been. No signs or anything about it, so let's go see. So the map says it's here. Prehistoric burial mounds are scattered all over the Iberian Peninsula. I guess it's been something to do with this here. Usually between 4,000 and 8,000 years old, but sometimes much older. These megaliths are often positioned on places with a high vantage point over the surrounding lands. A commonplace practice in pagan religions to honor the dead who inhabit these tombs and place them closer to their gods. Big rocks. That's a huge rock as well. Yeah, I think this is it, look. There are so many of these tombs in Iberia that most of them lay undisturbed, awaiting a day when resources allow proper exploration. But until that day comes, their secrets lay hidden beneath our feet. God. Yeah, not exactly impressive one, but I guess it's one of those ones that maybe is mostly under your feet. God, I gotta get back to the car, it's freaking Baltic. God, that's brutally cold up here. We're about 1,000 meters above sea level. And yeah, from the comfort of the car, you don't really notice how sodding well cold it is. That is fucking Baltic, I've got to say. Okay, so we want to find a place to camp. That's the issue here. I'm already feeling it might be more difficult than I had first thought, which is just classic for this trip, isn't it? I guess all we could do is continue along the trail and see what we find. Yeah, this is scenery that, for one, I don't want to miss because it's dark, and two, it'll get gross really quickly once it gets dark up here. It's going to be not nice driving. I pushed on along the ridgeline as the weather deteriorated. After having gotten myself stuck in the thick mud that this region is famous for, I was pretty wary when it came to soft ground. So as the trail disappeared onto the mountainside here, I was pretty trepidatious. Oh my god, are you serious? Right, oh no. Woo! Hell yeah! Oh, that is what this is all about, brother. Sometimes you just gotta go for it, and that is exactly what I did there, and it paid off. Also, it's snowing. It's snowing right now for the first time on this trip. We're getting really high in altitude and into some wild places. This is so sick. A little bit of adrenaline pumping, just smashing that 4x4 bit. At 1,000 meters altitude, I knew I was going to struggle to find a camp spot up here. I'd need to be somewhere further down in the valleys, where there'd be more opportunities to find a spot sheltered from the weather. But the trail itself, it seemed, was going to push on relentlessly over the tops of these mountains. Before long, my thoughts about making camp and where to do that were superseded by a more pertinent problem. The start of a faint clanking noise from underneath the vehicle. Right, I can hear like a clanking noise outside the car. I don't know what it is. It sounds... Can you hear that? That sounds to me like handbrake shoes. Friggin' hell. I could do without this at the minute. Right, let's go check that out, because we don't want to be thinking it's one thing and then it turns out to be another, you know what I mean? Let's see what we can find. It's wet and nasty. Oh, It's really tough to know, honestly, what that is. Bloody hellfire. Ah. So I've just come from up there. Yeah, that looks fine. That's a bit flat. Do put some air in that. Oh. It's that. Oh my god. Well, that's what it is. My exhaust's cracked. And it's coming off. Oh god. Yeah, that's exactly what that is. Ah, god, it's always something just ridiculous. It has to be, doesn't it? That's really funny. That's one of the wells that I did. Hey, I'm honestly glad that it's not the handbrake shoes, because the exhaust is going to be more of a pain in the arse. The handbrake shoes would have meant that I'd have to have dealt with it like now, you know, or found a place to just park and stay for the night and then do it in the morning and then ruin my day. But like, I had a push. God, how am I going to do that with the with my window of time to cross the Pyrenees? I'm gonna have to. I wish I brought some bloody wire or something like that. I might have to try and get some like exhaust wire or strap or something just to like hold it on until we get to the other side of Picos. Oh, this is gonna be ridiculous. It always has to be something absolutely ridiculous with this vehicle, eh? Like, it can't be something normal, can it? I'd spotted an extensive network of forestry tracks on my map, which I'd earmarked as a potential place to camp, but I'd arrived to find that the entrance to the track network was absolutely full of mud, so I just carried on. I was just over there saying like, oh, I so don't want to drive over the top of this mountain, considering it's now twilight and the fog is descending, and I thought that the trail wanted me to go on a trail down the valley. I was like, yeah, that's much better, but no, actually we're up here. Oh, there are like so many places down there that I could camp as well. Look at this. Oh, dude, look at that, man. Oh, that would have been ideal. See, I could see this on my map. It's this, look, and I was thinking, oh, that's ideal. Oh, maybe I should turn back and go check that out, see if we can get like camped up in there somewhere. Oh, I don't know, what do you think? It looks muddy. It's off the beaten track. I don't know what to do for the best. The thing is, I thought it was going to be really well hidden as well, but in actual fact, with there being this vantage point right off of the mountainside, you're going to see this freaking big yellow penis extension of a car really easily, aren't you? Oh god, I guess I'll carry on over this bloody mountain. Why do I feel like this is a bad idea? F it, let's do it. With the decision made, it looked like I was going to be driving into the night trying to find a camp spot again. So we're almost at the snow line of this mountain. I feel like I'm just about parallel with it, but it's on the other mountain. You can really feel it as well. The chill is like pertinent in the air right now. Wow, the views, man. This is the highest we've been on this trip without a doubt. God, man, to me, this is like the meaning of adventure, honestly. It's just so much fun. I need to be grateful every day that I'm out here living this life. This is like my dream life, and I get to live it. Oh, dude, sometimes, man. It's snowing right now as well. Okay, check this out. So this is the snowy mountain. It's snowing right now. This is the snow line. It's literally about 5 meters above us. The trail is going to take us just below, but that is it. That's the snow line right there. We're on the snow line right now. I could get out and walk up to that if I wanted to. I absolutely don't want to, but I could. But I'm now driving just about parallel to the snow line. There's snow right now. Fuck, this is cool. I'm in low 4 traversing this because it's freaking treacherous, honestly, it really is. The fog is coming in now, and the rainy, sleety snow just below the snow line here is not very nice either. I'm pretty ready to get down off this mountain and make camp and eat. I'm pretty starving. All I've had is like a really small breakfast all day. And so yeah, I would quite like to get down and make camp now. It's getting dark. Despite my musings about making camp, as those first flakes of snow began to hit my windscreen in earnest, making that a reality had never felt further away today. That's your snow right there. Wow. I'm glad I'm in low 4 here, man. Low 4 first gear. Take it nice and easy. I pushed the Land Cruiser along the track carved into the mountainside, heading westwards as the sun dipped below the horizon behind the clouds. Little town in the valley. It's well washed out, this road, check it out. Basically, I'm turning around because that way, which is where the trail wants us to go, is over the summit of another massive mountain. And A, I don't want to do it in the dark for safety reasons and because the weather's gross, but also I'm thinking there's just no point because you see no other views, and if I can find a parking space a little bit further down to stay for the night, maybe I can do it in the morning when it's going to be clear on the way to our passage of the Picos. Been looking on the map here, and it looks like an overgrown trail a little further down here. I have hopes that maybe we might be able to follow and find a spot down in, you know what I mean? So yeah, here is the map. This is where we are right now. What I'm thinking is basically this is the route that it wants us to take, but I don't want to do that because it goes over the mountain. So what I'm thinking is there's a town down in the valley here which we can see actually the lights of. We just saw the lights off before, and so if I take this route here with this little dog leg, go down here, and then this track here is like really overgrown and it actually goes into a bit of forest here. I'm thinking that is where we'll find a place to camp if there's going to be anywhere. And it goes down into town, in which case I can either carry on through the town and link up with the trail over here, or go back round on ourselves in the morning when the weather's better and when it's light. Let's see how we go on that. I'm going to go around that dog leg right now and check it out. God, this is tight. No, that is actually really scary, man, honestly. Jesus, man, the drop off to that side is actually just terrifying. It's like 500 meters down to the valley floor. I need to be really careful here. I found something of a culvert to reverse back into and carefully perform the maneuver, watching the light from my high beams shoot out as 2 bright columns into the darkness of the chasm in front of me. This was the entrance to the track that I'd seen on my map. I could tell right away that I'd assessed this accurately as an overgrown and very rarely used route, and I was hopeful that I'd be able to find my camping spot somewhere not too far down here. A little further, or do you want to be? No, this is pretty perfect if I can get it in there anyway. Well, I think we found our place for the night. We've got a culvert tucked in off this. Alright, this is an ideal spot. Hopefully we'll be pretty well hidden. We're like in a little culvert right up against a cliff, and things can get past if they want it, but I don't think this is used at all, this little 4x4 track. So yeah, there's a tiny little stream and a waterfall down there, so I'm gonna have to go out the passenger door and we'll get set up, get some food on the go. This is nice. Hell yeah, bro. Okay, so first job is gonna be finding somewhere for all this stuff. I've got two real nice baguettes there. They are beauties. And then, yeah, it's gonna be time to make some dinner. Stoked. This has been a good day so far. When I'm making camp, I tend to just throw everything that I don't need through into the cab, just stick it there and pull the curtain back across, and then you're kind of good, you know. Oh, so this is good. This is a good camping night. I opened up the fridge and started packing away all the food that I bought earlier. When you're living in such a small space, it's kind of vital that everything has its place and that you keep everything in order. Otherwise, things get chaotic really quickly. Alright, so for dinner tonight, I have these, I think they're like breaded chicken cutlets. Cachopo di pollo con jamón de pavo. I don't know where the jamón de pavo is, but yeah, they look pretty good. So I'm going to fry those up in oil. I have this broccoli because I feel like I just need some like greenery, and we're going to cook up these mushrooms because they need using. Some salad to double down on the greenery, and possibly an avocado, although that kind of feels excessive. I might have some bread as well with it. Usually with something like this, I would like make potatoes as a carb, but I can't be arsed with all the hassle of potatoes, so got the bread, gonna eat the bread. So I've just tried to put the night heater on to take like the edge off, but it's come up with an error code. First time it's ever done that before, E10, which is a bit of a gutter, honestly. It means that probably there's something wrong with this night heater. I can smell a bit of diesel. I wonder if the pipes have gotten ripped off and it's pumping diesel onto the ground. That's not ideal for several different reasons, because right now it's not that cold. I mean, I would have liked the night heater on, but it's survivable. But where we're going, over to the Picos de Europa, it's going to be freaking Baltic, snowy, and so yeah, really need a night heater. I can smell diesel. I think a tube's gotten ripped off underneath. I might have to go under there and have a look tomorrow, but not here because I'll need a paved bit to look at that. It's like knee-deep in mud underneath. It's getting colder by the minute up on the side of this mountain. We're about 700-800 meters above sea level. Yeah, it's gonna get cold tonight. Without that, we'll use the big frying pan for the first time in ages. Using that, actually, we're gonna fry the pollo up, cachopo di pollo. Probably, what will we do? Yeah, we'll put this on first. We'll put this broccoli up and get that going. Having the inside space inside the camper is an absolute godsend. And nights like this are literally what I had in mind when I built the camper. I once overlanded through the winter in Patagonia for 2 months, living out of a roof tent and preparing every meal in whatever the weather chucked at us that day. That was an experience I don't want to repeat. And there's not a night like this that goes by that I don't appreciate my inside space. Beauty. Alright, so our mushrooms are almost ready, broccoli is ready. We're going to do our cachopo di pollo in here with the oil, and then I'm probably just going to butter some bread and have it on the side. Okay, these are looking like they're doing something. Flip them. Yeah. Nice crust on that side, so. Yeah, that's good. Beautiful. All right. Well, here's to an overall good day. Bit gutting about the night eater, but that's something that we can deal with, or we will just have to deal with it, as much of a pain as it is. So, gonna get some scrandowners. It's getting on for 9 o'clock, so I'll probably eat this, clean up, and then just go to bed and try and get up early tomorrow. So, cheers. Gotta say, this lack of night eater thing is not enjoyable, I have to admit. I'm sitting here like pretty goddamn cold. I've got my sleeping bag out, and I'm wrapped up in that now, which is helping, but yeah, I'm just not used to this. I guess I'm going soft. I did the old Pan American Highway without a night eater. I have to keep telling myself that, but I'm just so used to being in this camper, being so nice and warm and comfortable, and it being lovely in here, and I'm able to just like relax and, you know, edit my videos or do whatever I want. Whereas right now, it's gotten really cold on the side of this mountain, and yeah, it's just not fun, honestly, anymore. Like, usually it's really fun camping, and right now I'm not having a good time. Right, I'm just getting to bed now. I'm absolutely freaking perished. Like, I don't know, I think I must just be getting old and soft, but like, oh my god, I don't like being this cold anymore, man. Like, I am notorious for sleeping with nothing on, because I don't like the feeling of being restricted at all, and here I am in a freaking hoodie. I'm about to put my hat back on, like full trousers and everything. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting night, because it is absolutely Baltic, gotta say. Need to get this night here up and working again. I really, really do. Yeah, this is going to be a chilly night. All right, I'll see you in the morning. Morning, folks. It was a freezing cold night last night. I'm struggling with motivation to get out of the sleeping bag, to be honest. But gotta do it if I want to do this passage. So yeah, gotta get out now and see what's about me, and I'll make some coffee and breakfast and stuff. I reluctantly climbed out of bed, feeling pretty well frozen to the bone after a long night in sub-zero temperatures. I don't normally run the diesel heater in the night, but will run it all the way up until the point at which I get into bed. Going to sleep already warm through, and in a warm vehicle which will continue to radiate heat seems to make all the difference. Wow. That is gorgeous. I surveyed my surroundings from my perch just below the snow line of this mountain. Oh, I gotta say, I did not sleep very well last night for the cold, and that is Baltic. That must be about -4 or 5, I think, this morning. So what it got down to in the night, I don't know. Oh, yeah, the lack of night eater. Oh, it's gonna cause a problem. Just like being cold at all times takes the shine right off this. The ice crunched under my boots as I peered over into the direction that we'll be taking once I'd packed up here. Okay, it's about 9 AM, which is later than I would have liked. So we're gonna get some breakfast quickly and hit the road. I think that I'll probably go down to the valley to try and get some signal and figure out that night eater situation, and maybe try and find a concrete pad somewhere as well. And yeah, that way, I mean, I could maybe afford to spend about 25 minutes on that, and then we need to get to the town where I'll start this passage, because yeah, 9 AM, it's the weather's supposed to turn at 5. So yeah, we haven't got all that much time.
I turned one of the gas stove burners on to warm my frozen hands.
God, I had to just get my hands warm. I couldn't think straight for a second there. Like, okay, feel a bit better now that I've warmed my hands. So that once my extremities get cold, I don't think about anything else other than just like survival mode. So yeah, that feels a whole lot better. Just something simple like that. Alright, let's make some breakfast. In times of desperation, there's no time for civility like dirtying an additional pan when you don't need to. I got the coffee on, got the bread on. I'm going to butter that bread. I've got some sliced meat and cheese which I'm going to put on there, and then fry 2 eggs in the pan that I used to cook the chicken things last night. And that'll make a pretty solid breakfast. I feel a bit better now that we're getting somewhere with this. I need to fix that night heater. Like, this is like, it's gone from, you know, camping and it's survivable and pretty pleasant to like just full on survival. And I can't really be in survival mode when I'm trying to work and, you know, film and stuff. I need to have a bit where it's relatively comfortable, and that's always what I had with the night heater. Without that, it's going to be really difficult to continue doing what I'm doing, you know. Okay, gonna get this down us and then we'll get out of here. Honestly, I can't wait to get that car on and get warm in the cab, you know. Right, we're gonna pull it around here so I can get to the other side and close it up properly. Landed right in the bloody mud there, I think. Okay, let's plot our route. Honestly, I've gotten like chilled to the very marrow. That has been cold, like not fun, you know. Sometimes it's kind of fun. You're camping in the winter, but like that was just not fun. And God, the knowledge that I'm into it for the next few days at these temperatures is not filling me with great joy, quite honestly. Goodness me. It's freaking hard to get warm.
Pulled the cruiser forward on what I could now see was a long abandoned trail. The ice on the track crunching under the cruiser's tyres as I eased forward and rounded a corner, and the majestic beauty of the whole valley displayed itself before me below. I continued along the track as the sun rose in the east to thaw out the frozen mountainside and warm the skeletal trees. I'm located in the far north of Spain, in this rugged mountain range that houses the tall and proud Picos de Europa. With my high mountain pass still located around 75 kilometers to the west, I was going to have my work cut out in pushing through this mountain world inside of a day. These views are unbelievable.
God, man, you get out and take it in vistas like this and all the kind of small stuff is forgotten pretty instantaneously. This is so incredible, mate. Man, being out here in like the middle of nowhere, Spain, where hardly anybody comes, honestly, and seeing these vistas firsthand, it's such a privilege.
This expedition has held lots of moments that have felt almost too good to be real, and this right now felt like one of them. I reflected on the unlikely nature of me, some lad from northern England, being out here, cruising on the side of a mountain, in a cruiser that I'd built myself, taking in these spectacular views, in the absolute wilds of the remote Spanish hinterlands. Every now and then, on pretty much every day of this expedition so far, that thought would occur to me. and a smile would spread across my face. I would think about how easily this might not have happened, how I could well have just given up on one of the many difficult junctures along this road or in the run-up to it. Or how I might have just decided to prioritize different things in life. Maybe throw myself full bore into my business, or decide to go live a normal life in another country. But no, every choice that I've made over the past 10 years or more had led me to this moment. Being out here on a 4x4 trail on the side of a mountain with a fresh coffee in hand, probably the only person for miles around. And for that, I try to be grateful every day.
As soon as you drop off a little bit of altitude, the temperature just drastically increases. Like, we must have been camped pretty much on the snow line there, I think. We've dropped off a few meters, maybe 50 meters, and it's a whole lot warmer ambient temperature, which I'm not gonna lie is pretty nice. But where we're going today, it's gonna be a lot higher, a lot colder, so we gotta strap in for that one. I gotta take my down jacket off now that we've dropped altitude a little. So beautiful, man. Alright, so the map has us going downhill. Check it out. So actually, I'm thinking, looking at this, I can follow this trail all the way down into the valley by taking this. It's going to get to woodland pretty soon and then hit this town, and then I will check out night eater things here hopefully, and then take a trail that goes along the side of this main road to link up back with the trail near to this town. There's a water point here as well, which I will try to fill up from, I think. That'd be pretty nice. Oh, the key today is not to tarry, I think. I keep having to remind myself that yes, there's spectacular things around here that I'd like to stop and see. There are going to be even more spectacular things up in the mountains on the Picos Pass. So yeah, key thing is going to be not to take too much time looking at all the honestly absolutely indescribably beautiful things around here, which is going to be tough. So we're camping just under that snow line up there. You can see actually our track cut in there.
I continued along the new route that I plotted, heading towards the town that I'd seen on the map. But as I approached the point at which the mountain would round out, and I'd expected to find a shallow gradient track down to the valley, I rolled the cruiser to a halt, because this was no ordinary descent.
Oh shit, this track disappears, man. What the f, brother? Okay. Oh, man. Right, that is no longer a trail. Oh, I've come to this bit and, oh, I don't like it at all. It's a serious ascent. I'm checking it out. You can see in the background already, look at the car. It looks like four-wheel drive vehicles do go up here, but very, very rarely. Oh, mate, this is a pretty serious descent rather. I don't really fancy this, man. Oh, God.
This was a steep, rocky, exposed ascent on the spine of the mountain, the gradient of which I estimated at least 40 degrees, maybe more.
Look at this, it's like a 40-degree bloody angle. I am not a fan of this at all, honestly. Oh, this is the kind of thing that you get yourself into and it can go really, really wrong, you know? With the weight of that thing as well. Oh man, I don't think I want to tackle this, quite honestly. Like, this is a 40-degree slope, more maybe. And oh yeah, it's just with the weight of that thing, like the back end wants to push you sideways all the time on an ascent like this, descent like this rather. And yeah, that can lead to a rollover. Oh man, it's just, I've gotten myself so far down this track now that I think I'm gonna really actually quite kind of struggle to turn around. There's nowhere to turn around really, so mate, in a bit of a pickle here. That is a mega steep ascent, that. Oh. It's like basically to that all the way down in the bottom of those trees. Oh, it's just, how the hell did you turn around, you know? I mean, I could maybe get in there and turn around on that mad bit of hill, but don't really like that either. Wow, didn't expect it to go like this. I'm pretty sure there was nothing back there to turn around in for like the last 10k. Huh. This could get interesting pretty quickly. I'm gonna try to reverse down here. I just don't have the bollocks to tackle that this morning, to be honest, and alone it's just a bad idea all around. It really is. So yeah, I'm gonna reverse down here. I don't know if there's anywhere to turn. In fact, I'm pretty sure there isn't anywhere to turn around for at least a few Ks, if anywhere, but what else can I do? Oh God, I need to be fucking careful here. This is like a road cut into the side of a bloody mountain. Not a fan of this.
And so I began my precarious reverse down the trail that I'd come in on. The track that I'd been marvelling at the views from just before had gone from a source of joy and wonder to a tense and dangerous avertive manoeuvre. I was into this track by about 14 or 15 kilometers. And it had the same characteristics pretty much the whole way along. A steep rock wall on the way up the mountainside on the left, and a dizzying chasm to the right that dropped down directly at least 500 meters into the valley below. I was going to have to be really careful here, because one wrong move could result in more than just a bad day.
Oh mate, it's going to take forever, and it's eating into my day like a lot. It's now 11:20. Getting on for 12, I know that, well, yesterday when I had signal, weather window ended at 5. What the fucking hell? This is gonna take forever, mate.
On top of the most pressing issue of reversing safely down this track, driving backwards slowly like this, with the embankment to my left, was allowing me to hear much more clearly what was going on under the car. I could hear a definitive shrieking and clacking noise from the back of the vehicle, which was indicative of handbrake shoes after all. That meant that last night my diagnosis had been wrong. The exhaust was definitely knackered, but I also had bad handbrake shoes at the rear as well.
There's a bit back here that check out and see if it... Oh no, it looks far bigger than it actually is. Damn it. Mind you, up here, I think I could do it here. Yeah, I think I could probably turn here. This is a bit more like it, yeah. I mean, it's still going to be a bit hairy, but I could put one of my tyres on that big rock. Yeah, this is where I could do this. Oh, thank God for that, because I've just reversed almost, about 5 kilometers down that track. And that was not fun. Some of those turns and switchbacks and stuff, pretty scary going forward, never mind bloody backwards. Right, let's do this then. Okay. Oh, God. As soon as I get back behind the wheel, I'm not all that confident in my ability to turn this around here. It's so tight.
I edged the vehicle backwards along the track, pivoting the steering wheel and swinging the nose of the cruiser out over the chasm.
God. Okay. Holy shit, this is fucking scary, this. Oh, like immediately I'm back up against the freaking embankment. I need to get out there and check it out. Oh man.
I got out to take a look as to where I could put my tyres safely while minimising the risk of pushing too far and ending up on a one-way trip down the mountainside. This was going to be a delicate operation that would require me to move just inches backwards and forwards in what would turn out to be a many-point turn. Each time I did this, the back end of the vehicle was fully pushed up against the embankment at the back. I was now completely sideways on the track.
Oh, this is scary, man.
I was on the right track with this turnaround. Past the halfway mark, the key now was to continue taking my time and not get overconfident. The chasm to my left was still a very present danger.
God. Thank God for that. Oh my God, thank God. Right. I gotta just take a minute after that one. Holy shit, bro. Well, I'm pretty shook after that, honestly. That was a very intense turnaround. Yeah, that descent was just one of those where I just know it could have gone so easily, so wrong. And being solo out here, like, maybe I would have had the courage to tackle it with a group, but even still, it's like if it goes, it goes, and that's it, you know. Like, the car is definitely a write-off, but also you can lose your life like really easily in a rollover like that. Oh man, yeah, this vehicle is a tourer with excellent 4x4 ability, but you don't want to push your luck on stuff like that. Like, there are things that it isn't, and that is a light little off-roader that can rip up hills. This is a 3-ton home, you know. Okay, let's carry on, because we have got a long way to go to getting on for 12. That diversion took a lot of time, and I want to do this crossing. I mean, this is a massive day, because if we don't do this crossing right now, I'm going to have to either wait for at least another week by the looks of the weather, or not cross the Picos de Europa via an off-road route, which is going to go against the ethos of the whole trip and me, and that I can't claim that I've done a circumnavigation of the Iberian Peninsula without using paved roads. So we really want to make this.
I pushed my way back along the trail that had brought me in here. Grateful to be pointing the right way this time, but very conscious of the fact that that manoeuvre had cost me a lot of valuable time and taken a big chunk out of an important day.
Alright, we're gonna drop it down to high 4 right now, because we're about to join a normal track. I've been in low 4 for knocking on for 17 hours. I mean, this is so fun. It really, really is. Just like off down there is just like an abyss. Like you wouldn't stop for 500 meters if I flew up there. Oh, God. Okay. So, change of plan then. We are going to go over that mountain from last night that we didn't conquer because it was getting late and dark and all that good stuff. So yeah, we're going to go over the top of that mountain and then we're going to head to the start of our trail. I think it's about an... God, that f***ing exhaust is just about to fall off, I reckon. Just one of the many things. In honesty, like I need to stop somewhere and work on this car solid for like 2 weeks. Cannot believe it. I really thought that like with all the preparation I did this time, it would be different, but no. So funny.
I pushed on along the trail that was going to take me over this mountain, gaining altitude by the minute, and happy to be underway and making some progress at last.
Just so indescribably gorgeous. I'm back up real high again, on the sunny side of the mountain right now.
As I rounded that corner on the mountain, nothing could prepare me for the sight that I was about to see.
Whoa, no way! Oh my God, this is amazing. This is the Picos de Europa, dude. What the f***? Dude, the snowy mountains. No way! Oh! Oh my God!
The sheer scale of the snow-clad peaks ahead of me, combined with the knowledge that I was about to transit them via four-wheel drive, was taking my breath away.
Oh God! The Picos de Europa, dude! They're more beautiful than I could ever have imagined. Oh shit, this is incredible. Honestly, man, I haven't seen a view like that while off-roading since leaving South America. My God, this is so cool. What a place, mate. Wow. Also, it's insanely warm right now, like incredibly warm. Oh my God, the stoke levels here are just, I cannot even describe to you. Wow.
As I pushed out onto the high moor, the scale of this mountain range came into sharp focus.
Oh my God.
I had been expecting the Picos to be spectacular, but I'd imagined that it would be a gradual thing, as opposed to an approach like this, being treated to a solid wall of 2,000 meter plus snowy peaks, and from the driver's seat of my Land Cruiser.
Okay, this is something really, really special, honestly. This is something else. Like, nobody comes through here. Look at these tire tracks, man. What the f***, dude? I mean, this hasn't been used in a long time. I'm gonna have to drop some air out my tires. Holy shit. This is like the stuff that dreams are made of. I'm so happy right now. Alright, let's do this. It almost brings a tear to the eye how incredibly gorgeous this place is. Let's four-wheel drive through the Picos de Europa.
As I set out onto that high mountain moor, bathed in the wintry sun of northern Spain, I had plenty of impending problems. A whole raft of mechanical issues that I would soon no longer be able to ignore. 70 kilometers of hard off-roading before I reached my high mountain pass, and a rapidly closing weather window, after which this high mountain world would turn from paradisaic to hostile in the blink of an eye. Despite knowing all of this, it faded into insignificance as I dropped the cruiser into low range and struck out on one of the most incredible drives of my life.